entertaining or least entertaining maps, depending on who you ask or how shitty the game is. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the casting tonight. I think for this one I'll be a little bit less analysis focused because I'm not a big... I mean, I like watching this map, but I hate thinking about it because sometimes you overthink it and people just do random shit because they don't know what they're doing. So, like last game, I went pretty deep into the TVZ analysis. This game, I'm just going to see what happens. Alright. I'll do a little bit of analysis, but... Okay, the probe scout coming out now, noticeably. Well, is it going to go for the pylon block on the bridge? Every once in a while, you'll get a Protoss player trying that out. If you saw, for example, if you get the probe scout out early, now this probe scout wouldn't have been in time. But a benefit of probe scouting early, especially on this map, is if your opponent goes for an early pull and tries to get across the bridge in time to pressure you, what you can do is just block it with a pylon, either on your side or the other side. So there's no real risk of taking a lot of damage from an early pull. Of course, even if they get past your first probe, you should be able to get another probe down to outside the net here and well off in time. I know you commented, how do you think Protoss will be with the upcoming, will do in the upcoming patch? I know you commented on DT Blink being near pointless. Well, what would you like to see? I don't know, maybe something with the Sentry. I don't know if I would recommend another ability, but maybe, I don't know, something with the Sentry. I think Protoss needs like a little bit of an early game buff in the new patch, especially against Terran and Zerg. I honestly haven't thought about it that much that I have an explicit recommendation. So, but I do think Protoss needs something. I'll leave that up to the Protoss to determine. If you made me think about it a while longer, I could probably come up with something. But I don't like just saying things like, you know what, the Void Ray needs to have 10 more damage. I gotta... and build 10 seconds quicker. What I actually think would be interesting... is maybe if units build out of a gateway quicker. Like, if... What about this? Here's something. What if, after you research Warp Gate... I'm just 100%. I'm 100% just spitballing here. But what if when you researched Warp Gate, it made units build out of gateways that aren't Warp Gates 25% faster? So, like, if you were playing defensive, you'd want to build out of gateways, and you'd have an advantage to be able to put out more units to build up your army. But if you wanted to warp in on the other side, you'd take a little bit of a build time cut, but you also have that warp capability. We've never messed around with that in SC2. It's pretty much like once Warp Gate is finished, everything's a Warp Gate because it's literally the same but better. 99% of the time. But yeah, I think something like that because you can't do it early game because that would make just super early pushes pretty dumb. But after, like, Warp Gate research would also tie into that, maybe. I don't know. That's me just making shit up on the spot. Alright, back into this game. We see... I'm changing the title of this round. We had Glaives on the way. Glaives is finished up. Oh! I alt-tabbed. Nobody saw that, and I was not observing. This is not a replay. This is real life. I just have time control capabilities. He's got a pretty decent push coming out, but the third base is on the way. Now, this is not designed to kill. This is designed to force a response, and it forced a response. He sees the roaches. He should split some of the roaches back here. He's actually going to try to just take the fight. A bit of a mistake there out of Cobalt. A bit sloppy with how he split his units. But he's also kind of baited the Adepts back here, so he should be able to get a kill on most of them. Now, that's so much damage, though. He's killed 11 workers. That was a lot more workers than that should have got done. He already had enough roaches, enough lings to deal with that. Pretty big mistake out of Cobalt there. He's going to maintain a higher drone count, but that means his tech and everything else is going to be delayed while he remakes these drones. So that was just an overall mistake. That's not how you want to handle versus that. You got to be splitting off quicker to make sure the shade does not do damage like that. The double Stargate follow-up, of course. Air control on this map is a pretty massive deal. If you can take air control, you can take these island bases pretty much with impunity. Of course, early on, it's kind of risky, especially against mass drops or anything like that. I don't think we'll see an island base for a little while, especially considering he doesn't have a robo to make a warp prism to bring a probe over there. But will he go for air control, or are these Phoenixes just for map control? Because there's a big difference between the two. By that I mean, if he's going for air control or air superiority, he's going to follow up with another Stargate, maybe get a fleet beacon, work his way maybe into Tempest or carriers, and try to stay turtled up on his bases. Whereas if he's going for map control, he's going to be on the other side of the map, just building Phoenixes, trying to get drones, constantly scouting if he's moving out. And that looks like what he's doing right now, especially considering we see 5 more gates on the way, as well as a robotics. Which means he's going to focus more on that ground army being the most substantive part, whereas the Phoenixes are what he uses to get a good position. Alright, we have charge on the way. +1 air weapons, but if you're going to invest in this many Phoenixes, it is a pretty safe upgrade to get. Allows you to take out queens, OBs, everything like that a lot quicker. Especially since, well, because they both have those armor upgrades. And Phoenixes actually have 2 attacks, which means when you get the +1 air weapons, both attacks are buffed and does double the damage effectively. And it makes them much more effective against armored units. Units that have 2 attacks, for example, the Marauder or the Stalker, get affected more dramatically by armor than units that have a single attack like a siege tank. It's kind of the way the damage works out. Alright. Double Forge on the way. He's pretty much had all of his cake, and now he's eating it too. Double Forge, double Robo, double Stargate, +1 air, charge, and Robo Bay are in the production tab. So he's pretty much going every tech tree at the same time. We'll see if he gets punished for branching out so much, or if Cobalt's going to sit back. This is a very awkward map, because you can't really attack across the bridge. You can't attack across the bridge. It's way too risky. If you get scouted, then they can literally just sit here and force field you, and if you try to go through, then they can just take out chunks of your army at a time. You're never going to cross the bridge. At this level, nobody's going to let that happen. So you have to go all the way around. You have to go all the way around here. And the Phoenix is, of course, going to get a pretty good bead on if that's happening. We got Ravagers on the way. This is a very low-tech army out of Cobalt here. This is an army that's designed to trade. It's not designed to just straight-up win a fight. There's no Lurker Den. There's no Hive, there's no Spire, there's no Infestation Pit. I can keep listing off the things he doesn't have, but those are all the important ones. It doesn't seem like he has any intentions on transitioning. This Warp Prism is actually going to be huge. Because if an army like this is across the map, and he gets a nice warping on the other side, he can force and engage. And if he can force and engage, things like Disruptors are going to make a huge difference. Now, this is a huge Zerg army bearing down on Dead Zerg here. We're going to have to see who's the Dead Zerg after this engage. 2 Disruptors on the way just in time. The Phoenixes are in... Oh, Zealot Warping. Charge just finished up. And now, I would say a mistake, but I don't think he was going to get damage either way. But without a Spire, without a way to reliably kill this War Prism, sending this army back is a mistake. You send this army back, you leave yourself vulnerable to so many things. You can't put pressure on. You're not really denying the Warpins. And now I'm pretty sure this is a select all army type of situation, where he's just kind of A-moving all of his units around. Remember, this is not a pro game, this is just a GM game. So maybe not necessarily the most experienced. Yeah. Now, this War Prism is not only getting position, it's getting scouting information. He sees this army is on the other side of the map. He sees it's still involving mostly this very ground-heavy... Holy shit! Is there any vision of this? Baneling speed just started. 57 slow Banelings are on the way. That's approximately 1 fuck ton of Banelings. The thing about slow banelings is they're slow. I know I blew a lot of people's minds right there, but okay. So it pretty much just depends on the disruptor hits here. Has he seen this yet? We're gonna see some disruptor shots. One going out, big chunk on the Banes. Another big chunk coming up, and already down 40 supply. Another shot being fired. It's gonna land. Do we have any more shots ready to fire? The force fields are gonna actually keep him protected for now, but the Ravager shots are knocking him down, and the Banelings will crash through. The disruptor shots were good, but not good enough. Jet Zerg looking at 98 supply, and Cobalt is crushing through. Is that enough Banelings? Another one survives. Will the fourth base go down? He's thinned out the army supply a ton. A lot in the mails. Thank you, Napalm Zombies, 13 months in a row. But are there enough units to close this out? More Zealots are on the way. The fourth base is being... Okay, it's been taken out. A lot of Zerglings coming up. They do have the 1-1 upgrades. Ravager shots are being fired. 2 more Disruptors on the way. The overcharges prematurely being fired there. You never want that. But on the other side, he's actually invested... No! Don't go back! No! The Selecto army, the F2, no! He just brought his entire army back from potentially a game-winning position on the other side of the map. No! And that is the best way to lose any position you once had. That War Prism just dragged approximately 100 supply of Zerg across the map. He can't kill it. He doesn't have a Spire. He doesn't have Mutas or Corruptors. Full NA. This is a North American replay, yes. But no, he's A-moving into the War Prism. You can't kill it. The War Prism will always get away because you don't have any air-to-air. 15 more Ravagers on the way. If there's anything Disruptors like to take a look at, it's Ravagers, because Ravagers, much like your mother, have a large hitbox, which can easily be caught by the Purification Nova out of the Disruptors. The War Prism is coming back. Will he bring the entire army again? At this point, I'm pretty sure Dead Zerg, you can kind of tell how a player plays very quickly at this level of StarCraft, and you understand that. Alright. There are 4 Disruptors bearing down. Baneling speed is done, but shots are being fired directly into the center mass, and the splits are just non-existent. And Cobalt dropping about 40 supplies simultaneously. Another shot coming out, connecting with some of the Banes. Does he have another one? The Bane's actually still doing a good job. They are connecting. A lot of splash damage washing over both sides of these armies. But it's not going to be enough. And this is why we don't just make Ravagers against Disruptors. They just... No. Doesn't work. I don't... Don't do it. A lot of Zerglings coming up. He still has shots to fire. He hits the Ravagers. Not a great shot there. The Zerglings spread out, and he's trying not to hit his own units, so it's a very awkward engage. Another shot coming out, catching a Ravager. The Disruptors will live. A single Immortal will survive. You know, you can't really hide these Zealots. They're under an Overlord, and I think he's realizing that as he does the Warp in. Alright. So the reinforcements will come out. The supplies are pretty even. The thing is, there's no late game tech here out of either player. There's no Tempests or Carriers or even Storm or Dark Templar. What are the upgrades? He's at 2-2. He's still just building this very ground-heavy army, and there's only a handful of Disruptors on the field. So it's not like Dead Zerg can push across the entire map. At the same time, Cobalt, a Hive is a distant dream. A Lurker Den, not even thought about. He has no Infestation Pit. He doesn't have a Spire for some sort of Muta play, or maybe even Corruptors. So both players on this mid-tier tech, and neither seems very stubbornly. They're both pretty much advocating for fax machines when we have smartphones now. And both players could invest in a smartphone, but they just choose not to. We finally have an Infestation Pit on the way. As either of these players has had plenty of time to transition, but when you get in the heat of the moment, when you're in a game of this intensity, sometimes you just get on a one-track mind. And you just force yourself to keep making these units, even though you know it's probably the wrong call. So now, once again, pretty even army supply, I would expect. 104 to 94, but those Disruptors will change this pretty quickly. Disruptor shot coming out. He won't lose the disruptor. Oh, one more big shot in the midst. Right in everything. Ooh. These disruptors are getting targeted down. That one doesn't go down. But so many Archons and enough Immortals at the back with a charge without warping should be enough to drive this back. I'm not sure. Yeah, the Zerglings are kind of like... They don't know what they want to be doing, but that's not what... No, and he shoots himself nearly in the face with those defensive Ravager shots. So those Disruptor hits could have been way better. But overall, this army composition out of Cobalt just has... It's losing value. All right, it's losing value very quickly. This is not a vintage army composition. You need Lurkers. He's finally going towards Broodlords, which are the answer once he gets half a dozen Archons, half a dozen Immortals, and way too much of plain Protoss. The Zergling's trying to run by, but he just lost so much of just that core tech. He can't force him to come back home. He can't force him to stop attacking. There are just not enough units here. It looks like he's going for the Protoss sandwich, but we'll see. Nope, he's just walking around. And did he walk by an observer? No, there's a Phoenix just chilling here. The Banelings are rolling in. How much damage will they do? Okay. And there's another Zergling run by into the main at the same time. The triple-pronged attack. We'll have to see how much damage this is able to do while he's teching up at the other time. There's no Raider Spire on the way quite yet. A lot of supplies invested. A lot of probes have gone down. 36 workers have been killed. It's now 37 probes to 71 harvesters on the other side of the map. The drones, I mean, the Zerglings are actually clearing up the entire natural. They're on the main. They might be able to get the Templar Archives before Storm. Is this going to be an all-in base trade counterattack? There's no Greater Spire. There is no there are no infestors. There are no lurkers. There's not even any banelings here. Cobalt needs to buy more time. The Templar Archives is actually going to complete. I don't think he actually has any Templar, or the Storm's going to complete. And he still has plenty of Archons on this side of the map. He cannot fight yet. He needs these Ravagers to connect. Banelings, even against Archons, are worth it in this kind of scenario where their economy is in the dumpster. But the Archon splits, yes, I said that out loud, are pretty good. The Immortals are pushing through, and he has 2 Disruptors on the other side. There's still one base kind of mining, some decent gateway production. Disruptor hits are coming out. It looks like they land. Did they land hard enough? It's still 61 to 37 workers. The army supply is 62 to 78. But the value of this Protoss army is so incredible. The Spire is finished, but a Greater Spire is a distant dream, it seems. I don't even know if he remembers he has one. These 2 Disruptors just chilling. The Bait Ruptors here. I don't recommend doing this. You could easily just get pounced on. He's selecting this one, or is that me selecting it? Anyways, you don't want to lose these Disruptors. Well, he lost the Disruptors, but he's diving so deep for that Ruptor. It doesn't get taken out. Oh, the money shot right in the middle. And now the Archon splash damage. Exactly everything Dead Zerg needed to make his name come true. Literally 6 HP and a dream on that Dream Ruptor. Still no Greater Spire. And the supplies have evened up at 67 versus 61 army supply. We have more Zerglings in the production tab. The worker count 39 to 61. Just enough mining left. A handful of Zerglings trying to run by. Adrenal Glands has completed, so these are cracklings right now. There is nothing to defend. They're going to rip through these probes even without the exactly +3. He needs this economy. Another set of Zerglings. The 4 and 3 Zergling run-bys are actually incredibly effective here. Oh my god, the probe count is diving. It's 63. 28 workers. He's dropping too low. He needs to push the issue. The Zerg might not have teched up past Lair the entire game, but he hasn't made it much further. There goes the whatever number base that is. Oh no! Another shot! Not quite connecting. He only has the 1 Disruptor. Does he still have a Robo-Bay? He still has a Robo-Bay. He could remake Disruptors if he had money. Of course, there's that if he had money part of things here. So, another group of Zerglings coming by. The overcharges are on point this time. Another tiny Zergling run by. These are good Zergling run-bys. It's going to come down to the Disruptor. It has 14 kills so far. It's going to need more than that. It's 161 to 111 supply, but a lot of that is in workers. These Archons with their big pillow shields are absorbing a ton. Enough Banelings to crush through. The Disruptor Shot comes out. It connects. Did it connect hard enough? The Warp Prism isn't here to micro. Ravager Shot's trying to come out. And the Archons are trading. The Immortals in the back pushing through. And it... Somehow we have another even fight. Those Immortals at 35 and 34 kills alongside the Disruptor, almost nearing that 100 mark. 90 kills between these Robo units here. And let's not even count the Warp Prism for how many it's involved in. So, if only there was a greater spy. God damn it. Another Archon on the way. 2 more Immortals as well joining the fray. Another group of Zerglings running by, but the economy isn't really what he needs to be hitting that much anymore. Will the Disruptor Shot be used? He only has the 1. More probes are going down. He's down to 21 in a single base of barely mining. He's broke. He's got nothing left here. Just enough to warp in 1 Archon a minute. There's this single Phoenix, a remnant of what's happened in this game. Swing around to this top base. There are 30 drones, but only 4 of them are doing useful mining. Will he take the shot? He takes the shot, but this time it's going to airball. But that's not a good enough engagement here. The drone count, the probe count is now at 12. So the question here is, can Cobalt take a big enough Disruptor Shot to lose this game? That's really all that's going to matter here. The army supply is 62 to 50. This is still a very scary army. 2-2 against 2-1-2. This is still a very scary army out of Protoss. There's a total of 4 patches of mineral mining. So he's broke. That both players, the income tab shows not very much in general. It looks like the Zergling counterattack. He's going for the semi-base trade and expanding to the low ground. I'm not sure how we've gotten here, but we're here now. Just Ravagers against Disruptor, Immortal Archon. I do not... So this is a base trade. He can't fight this anymore. This army is just too strong unless the Corrosive... It's about the shots here. If the shots hit... Oh, no, and he gets the Disruptor! It was right under a Corrosive Bile, but these Spine Crawlers have yet to land. This army is way too good for the Ravagers, but at the same time, the Zerglings are killing the other side simultaneously. He's caught on the bridge, and he will never come back home. Are there any buildings? There's 1 probe! Where is the 1 probe? There is 1 probe right here in the middle of danger. This base is being taken out. The drones are being pulled. I don't recommend it. He has enough money for 1 more hatchery, but he has next to no mineral mining. There's only so many bases left. There's 1 probe. He needs to get that into his Warp Prism somehow. He has enough for a pylon or an assimilator, and that's it. 1 probe. Anyways. But Cobalt has no mining, so even if he sits on the high ground, doesn't necessarily ensure him the victory. The Phoenix is scouting. It sees this hatchery. This is the only hatchery that has anything but long-distance mining. It's 16 drones versus 1 probe. I'm not sure how we got here. The overcharge, incredibly useful. 15 kills on the mothership core and a couple dozen on the pylons. There goes the hatchery. Another pylon going down, but the value from this mothership core is almost infinite at this point. We have long-distance mining from the former 5th base, as this Protoss army is the strongest one on the map. There's a lot of static defense. There's Ravager shots. There's no more Disruptor. No, the probe needs to not be in this army. The probe needs to be in the War Prism right now. That probe needs to be in that War Prism, or this game could just end. What we got? Phoenixes, 3 Phoenixes could have infinite value because the only anti-air is 1 queen. I think Protoss wins. After all of this, the Ravagers are coming across. Well, wait. He can't kill all these Ravagers. He only has the 1 Put it in the damn War Prism. Holy shit. Put it in the War Prism. What? No. The danger. Danger. He sees the hatch. The Ravagers are going for it. These are the last beasts coming back home. He needs to attack. No, go home. Oh, he recalls to the Nexus, but he hits the mothership core down. Oh, shit! And the Ravager shots right on... I don't even know if he did that on purpose. The 3 Ravager is going to be taken out. All right. I don't... God damn it. Where's the warp prism? Did he lose the warp prism too? He lost the warp prism. Oh, no, the warp. He lost. Where's the probe? Where is the probe? The probe is still here. There's 27. He's mining from a gold base. But eventually. Okay, are these all the drones? There are 13 drones. This is all 13 of the drones. This is every single drone. But he's not targeting the drone. Kill the drones. He doesn't. He has enough money for one more drone and an extractor, and one drone gets away. I don't. Oh my god. There's no units back here, but there's still a Phoenix with energy. The Phoenixes are gonna win this game. Oh my god. How did we get here? There is one drone versus one probe. I don't. The Phoenixes will eventually, at this point, all Dead Zerg has to do is camp this. But there are still 3 queens. There are 3 queens. So he can't win with just the Phoenixes. But can he ever beat this army on the ground now? That's 4 Ravagers. No, he can't. He has to base trade now. Cobalt, I'm not sure who threw this game harder at this point, but it's been a back and forth. We've gone almost 9 innings right now. I think, like, at this point, Protoss should win. At this point, Protoss should win. But he has to kill all the buildings, remember. You must kill all the buildings. There's no mothership core, by the way. The only units are the Phoenixes. Do they have enough energy to lift all these? Yeah, you can't go. He can't go up this ramp, though. So, there's 1 probe versus 0 drones. Did he lose his drone? He lost his drone! He will eventually lift all these, but he doesn't have enough energy. There is 1 probe ready, poised to make an assimilator. Will these 2 Zerglings kill this? He knows where the army is on creep, too. Like, there's going to be enough energy to lift another one in just a moment. And he's going to get it. Alright. Now, this one Zergling. Alright. He's sending the roach. He's just... Okay, he's doing it. He's going for the throne. He's going for the throne. We just have the static def... All the buildings are in the main. The queens are at the back. He's going all in. The army is across the map. He's going for it. Oh, and there's a single probe on the map that has enough for 1 building. He's trying to hit down... He will be revealed after this. I don't... The army is... He's trying to move the army faster with the power of the War Prism. Now, the Phoenixes are scouting for another... If he kills all these buildings... Uh-oh. Run. Run! Oh, no! He's gonna lose his entire... Has not rebuilt his base and is being revealed. But he can't run. He'll eventually get chased down. There's a single... He's gonna go for the probe. But the probe doesn't have any other value. It doesn't do anything now. I don't know. The Phoenixes eventually win. And the War Prism Micro, there's nothing left. That's GG. Well, alright. I just...